Coach, since we hadn't talked to you in a while, I know it's a vague question, but just your unit as a whole, what you've seen, maybe either adjustments or guys that have sort of caught your eye, through the season?
Yeah, I think the two people that are playing well, week in, week out, and kind of have become leaders in the room are AJ and Isaiah. Malik Fleming continues to do well. He's a guy that we move around often, try and, feature him in different places. But, I think as a whole, just trying to find the pieces that work together has kind of been the deal this season.
With AJ, you sort of know what you're going to get in when you got here. I mean, a lot of tackles.
Yeah.
I guess it's a good to bad. It comes with you don't want your safeties necessarily being your tackle, but for what he's out there to do, he seems to be a guy that's always around the ball.
Yeah, he has a knack for that. That's something that we saw on film, recruiting him. And it's showing up on film here, which is a good thing for us.
Have you seen his, I guess if you're going to have I think it's Mr. Give Me All That, you gotta sort of back it up.
Yeah, there's no doubt. The one play that comes to mind is the West Virginia play where he punched the fumble out. And, I thought it was a fumble, but, a situation like that, he's around the ball. It's just, sometimes they come out, sometimes they don't. So.
Was he the guy that also in that game where it was a sideline pass where if they complete that?
Yep.
I mean, was that him or was that?
Yeah, that was him. Okay.
But that wasn't the punch out play. That was another.
Yeah, that was another key play in the 2-minute situation for us. He kind of made up for the corner in that situation. So, he's kind of taken on the true definition of a safety, right? Just the safety of the defense, knock it down. If it's, breaking out, he's doing a really good job of that.
This team has sort of had some slow starts in a lot of these games. When that happens, how do you sort of address that with your position group and work with that?
Yeah, it's it's something that we're trying to fix. We keep preaching it. We change things throughout the week to try to get them to start faster. We obviously need to continue to work at it, and hopefully throughout the month of November we'll be able to do a better job. But we're harping on that week in, week out, and the thing is, if you do have a slow start, you got to be able to bounce back pretty quickly. So you don't just want to have compounding problems. So we just got to get better at that.
What is it? Do you think sort of causes a team to start?
Yeah, if I knew, I'd be able to tell you, and we'd be able to fix it. So I think we just got to keep searching and trying to find out what the deal is. And I think other teams have done a good job starting with their game plan, and their first 8 to 12 plays have been pretty good. So we just got to do a better job.
Trying to figure out on Hip whose jurisdiction he kind of falls under, because he plays the move, but you guys have been using him back there. I mean, have you sort of had your hands on him a little bit more lately? These past 3-4 weeks he's been back there with me. We're running something a little bit different on defense, kind of like what we did versus Texas, and that'll probably show up week to week. Who knows? But he's kind of utility guy to me. Just he's played safety, he's played backer, he can do both. And he's kind of a fill where needed guy, and he's doing a really good job. And that nickel was also part of it, right?
Yep, nickel. He's been nickel, safety, backer. When we ran some of the 3 high stuff versus Texas, he was the middle guy. So
it's sort of out of necessity, but in terms of maybe different looks. He's a guy that. Yeah,
just trying to find a way to get the best 11 out there, and the one thing that he's going to do, he's going to know what to do and play hard. So, that always accounts for something.
The other guy you mentioned, Isaiah. Do you have any? There's always a first time you saw him type moment or recruited him. I mean, you guys didn't have to even waste a quarter of a tank of gas to get over there to see him. But I mean, was there anything that jumped out about him?
Just watching his film throughout the portal process, like you could tell he was very athletic. And the one thing that stuck out to me is when you go back and you watch them play versus UTSA last year, and having played those receivers, they were pretty good, and he was holding up pretty well. So that always just stuck out to me in the back of my mind. And then I recruit the high school he went to. I recruit there. So I've had some conversations with Coach Hurts at Channelview. So I'm glad we could get it done and bring him across the street.
Is that it's not as common with you got guys that come back to their city or but to have neighboring cities like that, and I know Clarence has a history here. Don't ever want to lose a guy, but I guess you're going to lose one to your neighbor. That's
I don't know how I feel about that. It's just this is what it is this day and age, and I think any coach in the world would be happy if it's a good situation for the kid. So and I think it is.
Does he? And we mentioned and talked to you about this in preseason, but the size of these guys. Have you noticed how maybe from last year or when you were looking at previous film that you guys are able to at least do a little bit more because of that?
Yeah, I think it's helped us out in some zone coverage. Just being longer, taking up more space. I think the quarterback when we're playing zone specifically, has had to check it down a little bit more than he has in the past, which is a good thing. Now we obviously got to come up and be able to make the tackle. So working on that, but it has shown up, and it's been beneficial.
There was a point this season where you guys were getting a lot of turnovers. Maybe not so much lately. Has there been a renewed emphasis sort of on how y'all approach trying to get those?
Yeah, I mean, it's something that we work on it day in, day out. I think, the quarterbacks, later in the season are doing a good job just, protecting the football. And we've had our opportunities. We had one in the West Virginia game that we obviously dropped. So, they're still out there. We got to keep searching for them. We just got to be able to make those plays.
There was someone else we talked to a while back. You were part of the Bill Walsh.
Yeah.
Just looking at the bio, you got something out. I believe you got a job out of it.
Yep. So
what did that do for you?
It meant a lot. So my coach in college was Greg Schiano, and then he got the job there. He actually gave me a tryout, and he cut me, and then the same day he offered me the job.
Well, you got cut?
So I was at the rookie minicamp, got cut by him, and then we were sitting in his office, and he offers me the job that same day. He's like, "Do you want to get into coaching?" I'm like, "Yeah, might as well." Got into coaching, started off as an internship, then became a defensive assistant there. Didn't do too well, got let go. We started off 0-8, so. But it was a good experience being in the NFL, my first year coaching, and then not having success kind of taught me a lot, you know what I mean? So it was a good experience.
Does the I guess the two sides of your brain where you're a player 1 minute, and then you're sort of put on the spot that this is what do you want to do this now, or did you have any reservation? Did you want to continue being a player?
No, I wanted to get into coaching. My dad had been a coach. My brother was coaching, so it's something that I always knew I wanted to do. The one thing that was interesting though is, like, I was coaching guys that were older than me. I had just got done playing college, and, one of the guys in the room is Darrelle Revis, you know what I'm saying? So it was a good experience. They learned from me a little bit. I learned from them. And, just seeing the whole dynamic at that level was very beneficial to my career.
What have you noticed in terms of just the difference in, I guess, sort of the mid-season sort of grind in the Big 12 and just that sort of schedule and things like that?
Yeah, every game's going to be tough. You've got to play good football to be able to have a chance to win. Looking at that part of the schedule, we knew it was going to be tough. But moving forward, we're excited that it's November, and some of the goals that we had, our mindset on are still out there, and we want to be able to accomplish that. So.
Your brother was y'all were mentioned in that video game.
Yeah.
You surprised at the reaction? I mean, he got a lot of
reaction. Yeah, it did. Yeah, we grew up, like I said, my dad was a coach, so that's something that we, obviously we were too young to be coaches at that point, but that's kind of how we did it, is through the video game. And, in college football and just the coaching profession in general, like, people don't like to admit that you can learn some things from a video game, but it's true. When you just think about situational football, like, calling timeouts in 2 minutes and stuff like that, like when you're playing a video game, that's you making those decisions. So it can help. I think some older guys in the profession don't want to admit that it could be a learning tool, but, I think it definitely is.
As kids, we all have the moment where we get, if you go into your prevent and
Yeah.
you're trying to throw that Hail
Yeah.
Mary, when you're part of a real
Oh,
life
yeah.
one like that,
Yeah.
obviously you were on the other side, it was the offense.
Yeah, I've never seen one of those happen in real life. Like I've seen it on TV, but like to actually be a part of that and to see that the way that the offense executed was unbelievable. So.
That also put the defensive cap on of, okay.
Oh yeah. This is what can happen if we're on that side of it and you don't do things right. So.
Isaiah Hamilton, how has he improved since he's gotten here?
Yeah, he's done a really good job. The biggest step that I've seen him take is just kind of becoming a leader in the room. I think he was kind of feeling himself, feeling around and, trying to see, what the room was and how it was like. He's always been a good player, but the leadership part is what I like the most. He's becoming a leader back there, and it's what we need, so.
You said he did not know how to watch video when he got here.
Yeah.
How do you teach that, or what do you do to teach that?
Yeah, it's just a process. So, like, for instance, you can watch a game and just watch it from play one to play whenever it ends, or you can, break it down by formation, backfield set, so you can start to see tendencies. So, he's not the only one. A lot of kids, that's how they got to learn how to watch the film, because it's just easier to pick up on stuff like that.